On this episode of the Film Optix podcast, we're going to talk about Rosario Dawson playing Ahsoka Tano in The Mandalorian. We also have a little bit of Aquaman 2 news for you, and J.J. Abrams finally debunks the J.J. cut. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Film Optix, where we bring you the headline hot takes of entertainment news. I'm your host, Christian, and today we will be talking about the world of film, TV, and everything pop culture related. And as always, I'm joined by my good friend and my co-host, Devin. How are you doing today, man?
Hello. Doing good as we possibly can be in these trying times.
Yeah, it has been, a solid 2 weeks. I think this is week 2 of me working from home. So it's been a little bit, adapting. I haven't really done much, outside of my normal schedule. So it kind of just is what it is. But I don't know. I kind of miss the outdoors. I try to go out for a little bit of a walk around my apartment complex, social distancing, of course, but trying to get some fresh air and what have you. But what have you been filling your quarantine time with?
Well, in our garage, we have a nice small ping pong table. So me and my dad have been ping ponging pretty frequently.
Nice.
It's,
Like
it's something.
pong or ping pong? Like ping pong beer
ping
pong? Ah, okay. I'm not
It-
very good
it's
at ping
something.
pong. Yeah, it's something to do. People are home, and it might as well take use the time to spend it with family if you're home, and just cherish these moments, because I don't think anything like this would happen again. I mean, it could happen again. I don't know, but stay inside and wash your hands, everyone. But before we begin today's podcast episode, our news podcast episode, excuse me, you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, Google Music, Anchor, YouTube, Podbean, TuneIn, excuse me, and iHeartRadio. Next up, XM Radio, as I've said multiple times before. But I feel like we have a decent amount to talk about, Devin. What do you think?
Yeah, earlier in the week, you were a little worried. We were looking kind of thin, but the past couple of days, we've been getting hits.
Yeah, that's why, I think us recording on Thursdays and releasing them on Fridays does a really I think it does us justice, honestly, because we're more on the tail end of the week, but we're not at the very, very tail end of the week. So we don't have to cover like everything. So if there is something that we missed for, let's say, that comes out tomorrow, we can just talk about it next week. So it's pretty nice. But do you want to take this first story here, Devin? It's pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
I thought it was a very interesting topic when I sent it over. It's very, when you stop and think about it, it makes your mind go places. Do you think Wolverine can cut his own claws off?
So I want to say,
Because they're made out of adamantium.
Right. And the only thing that can cut adamantium is adamantium.
Yes.
But it's like, I feel like it would have
I'm reading in the article, they would have to be heated up, the adamantium
in order
claws,
for him to cut up. Right. Because I was going to say,
definitely doable.
He's definitely sharpened them a few times himself, especially with X-Men Origins Wolverine, when the movie we all loved, when he kind of like plays around with them and they kind of bounce off each other. There's it's kind of like a folklore story. I forgot where it came from, but it's about this merchant who's selling the strongest shield in the world, and then the strongest I think it's a spear or a sword. And this one buyer comes up to him and asks, can the the strongest sword in the world cut through the strongest, the strongest shield in the world. And the moral of the story was that they were both cancel each other out because they're both the strongest of their own. What would happen if you were to take the sword and try to cut the shield if they're both made of like the same metal? So I'm assuming the same logic applies here. Because I mean, like you said, it being heated, I guess that is a good question, man. I really don't know, but I would say he could under certain circumstances. But can vibranium cut vibranium? I don't know.
Oh, I'll have to ask T'Challa.
T'Challa. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting question. I mean, like so your answer would be yeah. So
Yeah, it's possible, but I mean, he does not like them a fair amount of the time, so I'm kind of
yeah,
surprised he hasn't tried to just cut them off yet, or at least one. I guess he can only cut off one hand's worth, unless he used the other ones that he just cut off to cut off the ones that aren't cut off.
you think he used like his toes, like the claw. I mean, is his in Logan it happened with his daughter essentially.
Yeah,
She pulled out the toe claws. So I was like, oh
who
my gosh.
knows? Maybe
But
maybe
like his
one day.
entire little bit of a hiccup there, everyone, but that's all right. So we're back at it.
Yes.
So as I was saying before, Devin, I was saying, his entire body is, filled of of the stuff and whatnot with antimedium, and so it's I don't know. We'll have to see what's going on there. But for I guess both our answers for that would be yes. Let us know your answers in the comment section down below if you're listening to this on YouTube. So I guess I'll take the next story here. We got a lot of Star Wars news here, man. We got like oh my gosh, 4 stories back to back to back to back. Wow.
Yeah,
So,
5.
uh, this next one, it's the Star Wars Rogue prequel, Disney Plus series that they've been talking about. So, apparently the synopsis has been revealed for this new Star Wars Rogue One, prequel or series. I guess it's a prequel, but it it's reportedly supposed to have Rosario Dawson in it playing Ahsoka Tano as well. So I'm like very excited for that, and that's actually one of our other pieces of news. So it kind of just all meshes together quite well there, and it's just I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts about this? I mean, like, did you like Rogue One? I can't really.
I
We
I
never reviewed
did
it.
enjoy Rogue One, yes.
You did okay. I
Now that
liked
now
it.
that that was an ending. Everyone's dead.
Oh, yeah. Well, the true ending is when, Daddy Vader comes in and just wrecks because that definitely made it worth it. But their sacrifice, yes, we
And
understand.
apparently that was a reshoot, fun fact, so whenever you see a movie doing reshoots, there's no need to panic because it could be a Darth Vader scene like that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people say, "Oh, reshoots equals bad," and that's not necessarily the case. Maybe the directors wanted to try out certain scenes within. It doesn't mean that they're reshooting the entire movie. It could just be portions of the movie, whether it be the beginning, the middle, end, what have you. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, I am very well, okay, so I actually misspoke a little bit. The Mandalorian is supposed to have Ahsoka Tano played by Rosario Dawson. The solo Star Wars clone, the Star Wars, excuse me there. Wow, I cannot talk today. Is supposed to have that's the Cassian Andor series. That's all within the same, or is that a separate series?
The Andor series?
Yeah, is that the same as the Rogue One prequels
Yeah, I think so.
series? Okay, that is all. Okay, I was a little confused there for a second. I thought they were two separate things. So I misspoke. I do apologize because I knew Rosario Dawson. She will be playing Ahsoka Tano, as we said. And so for the Rogue One, I'm interested to see what it is. I do think it is a little random that they're choosing Cassian Andor for a Rogue One prequel series, but
He was a
I
really
mean, it
cool
is
character.
what's up?
He was a cool character, and Diego Luna is a pretty good actor, so it'd be
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I would agree there for sure. It's I mean, it is what it is. I'm interested to see what what's in store and uh, what what they have planned for us. So that's always a fun bit of news there. But I guess I wanted to get your thoughts about the Rosario Dawson, playing Ahsoka Tano, one of the most, if not one of the most beloved characters in the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, I think just based on looks alone, it's pretty much nails it. I guess is it gonna be an older version of her? Because obviously Rosario Dawson's she's not
Not
a
five.
youngin.
Yeah. I believe so. There isn't too much information on this, but I believe she would be picking up from where Ahsoka left off after. Well, I'm sure you know by now when well, there's been. Well, have you watched Star Wars Rebels? Like at the very end, there's like a really big battle between Ahsoka and a certain someone. So I wasn't sure if you knew or not. I don't know.
I've
Or
not.
Okay, never mind. I will not say a word because I mean I don't know if you're going to watch Rebels, but I'll definitely link you the fight because it's definitely one of the reasons to watch Star Wars Rebels. But I believe she will be taking on the more adult version of Ahsoka
I can't
Tano.
wait
So
to see
everything.
that one movie guy freak out because she's too powerful.
Oh
Remember
my
that?
gosh, what is his name? He absolutely hates Ahsoka, and it makes no
And
sense
Rosario Dawson's
whatsoever.
gonna make her a badass. He's gonna be even more mad. It's gonna be
Yeah.
great.
And for a while there was a rumor that Brie Larson was supposed to play Ahsoka, but I believe Rosario is way more fitting of the role. Not saying that Brie Larson couldn't play um, Ahsoka, but it's just I feel like she's a great actor, and I think Rosario's going to do a great job, and I'm very interested to see what she does with the character because Ahsoka is one of my favorite Star Wars characters, just of all. It's I mean the relationship between her and Anakin and everything I love it so. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on there before we head on to our next piece of Star Wars news? Our last piece, I believe.
Move along.
All right. Do you want to take this one or do you want me to take this one?
What are we on? What number?
Star Wars JJ
There's
Abrams.
no Abrams cut, you losers. Stop asking for it. We're not trying to be these Snyder plebs out here. Just go away.
Oh my god. It's happening again. Again.
No, we're gonna stop it right now. There
It's
is none.
happening
Go
again.
away.
They keep on saying release the Star Wars cut. I mean the JJ cut. Now the BVS anniversary. I don't know why people are celebrating this mediocre trash movie. I'm sorry, and this is
Martha!
my. Why did you say that name? Like honestly, if you're going to watch a good BVS story, go watch the original movie, The Dark Knight Returns, which is what BVS is based off of. It does a hell of a lot better job than BV. It's trash movie. I'm sorry. This is our opinion. If you disagree with us, that's totally fine. I respect your opinion, but to me, it's trash. I don't know why people are celebrating it. There is no JJ cut. There is no Snyder cut, and there's no butthole cut. I swear.
That one's funny though. That's at least funny.
For cats, release the butthole cut. But no, there is no JJ cut. Going back to our story here, there is no JJ cut for the Rise of Skywalker. He debunks it. It's come on. Like I understand if you don't like the movie, that's fine. But it's like even let's say Devin, even if there was, what it's not going to change your original viewing of the movie because you already saw it. Like you saw it in theaters. You already know what happens. Even if there might be a few changes here or there. It's not going to be this completely new, different movie built from the ground up. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, I understand that yes, there were some alterations with the removal of Hayden Christensen's cameo as Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost. I would have loved to see that because that was the number one thing I was looking for, and Devin knows this. But and it didn't happen. I mean, if it didn't happen, it didn't happen. It is what it is.
So just like those poor fanboys, we're moving on. hopefully.
Yeah, just enjoy the film for what it is and move on to on to the next big craze. Mandalorian season 2. Go watch Clone Wars. Stop bitching about this stuff. I'm so tired of it. It's just I don't understand why Star Wars fans just can't like just enjoy and say, you know what? I enjoy the sequel trilogy, and I believe I am in that camp myself because I enjoyed each film on its own. Do I think it's the overarching beginning, middle, and end between each film? It's not really there, but I mean, this is the first time that I've actually enjoyed every single film within a Star Wars series. They're not necessarily connected as well as they could be, but it is what it is. Quit bitching, people. I'm sorry. I normally don't try to cuss on here. It's just wow. But this is actually the last piece of Star Wars news we'll get into really quick. The Mandalorian season 2 news. We have Bill Burr returns as Mayfield,
Solid.
and we also have Michael. Is it Biehn? Be- I'm
Sure.
all, do you know how to pronounce this? I'm always
Nope.
butchering these names. All right. Michael B. B behind. Benign? Behind. Yeah. he played in the Terminator and Aliens. He'll be playing a older bounty hunter from Jin Jaharin's past as well. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, we're done with Star Wars news from now into the few the future. The future is far away. So wow, I'm just kind of it's just annoying all that stuff that's been happening. But anyway, Devin, we have another debacle, another
Oh
debates.
boy.
This has been going on film Twitter. It kind of exploded out of nowhere. I saw Iron Man 2 and Thor 2 trending, and Marvel fans are apparently arguing which MCU movie is the worst. And you know what? It's Thor 4. Like, I mean,
You
what?
mean you mean Dark World?
I mean, not Thor 4. Wow, man. Yes, Dark World.
Just
Thor
calling your
2.
shot for a future movie there.
So, it's the worst in the series. I've already seen it. No. But yes, my mistake. I misspoke. Thor 2. So people are comparing Iron Man 3 and Thor 2. And I don't know why this is a debate because we both
Both the first Thors are worse than Iron Man 3, like easily, by far. Not even a
like,
debate. I remember we saw Iron Man 3 when it first came out,
yeah.
and I remember liking it a fair amount. Obviously, the twist was dumb, shouldn't have done that, but the rest of the movie was really pretty solid.
It was. It was definitely. I think Iron Man 3 is one of the very few MCU movies that was. It didn't really necessarily follow the MCU formula, and there's nothing wrong with the MCU formula. I adore it. If it works, don't why fix it? Everyone's like, oh, it's so formulaic. Well, since when is having a formula a bad thing? Like it doesn't make any sense to me. But it's just
I think Iron Man 2 is worse than Iron Man 3, possibly. Definitely the first 2 Thors.
yeah, I think I like Iron Man 3 because it touches on a lot of, Tony's inner demons. I mean, Iron Man 2, I liked because I mean we got the introduction to Black Widow, so that's always a good thing. It had its ups and downs, but I don't know. I mean, if we're talking the worst MCU movie, I
It's
definitely
gotta be
think
Thor 2. There's
it's
no
gotta be Thor
debate.
2.
Get
Like,
out of
I
here.
like, I've for a little bit, I kinda enjoyed Thor 1. I liked it better than Thor 2, but it's still bottom of the barrel. I think Iron Man 3 is more so middle tier because I mean, I kinda liked it. I don't think it's a bad movie. I don't know why it gets so much of a bad rap, but it's like, I mean, if you don't like the plot twist, that shouldn't like, oh, well, if the twist is dumb, then I'm not gonna like it. Like, it's still a good movie and it fits in the MCU so well. But I don't know, man. I saw someone was talking about Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm like, those are perfect palate cleansers, far from terrible movies. And then, of course, all the misogynistic males out there talking about how Captain Marvel's the worst, which I don't agree with. I think that's more of the middle of the road. What about you?
Yeah, middle of the road.
Yeah, so
Maybe bottom half. I don't think it's gonna age very well.
yeah, and I'm trying to figure out which MCU movies are because it's a little bit different with video games though, you know what I mean? Because I feel like with Nintendo, they make if as much flack as they get, a lot of they still hold a lot of value and people go back and play their old games all the time. But with Sony, it's kind of like, they make games more for that generation and those games eventually start to show their age, but for whatever reason for Nintendo it doesn't really work. I mean, it works, but yeah, I going back to this, I do agree. It'll be interesting to see, when we are older, with families, how these movies hold up and which ones age well, because I think the only two franchises, three franchises I would say that age pretty well are Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter. But that's just me. I don't know. Let's just move on to the next story here. So we're done with all the ugh, man. We're done with all the Star Wars news.
We're done
So
with
we're gonna go
Disney, it
on.
looks like.
Yeah, we're actually done with all the Disney news. Well, a little bit of I can't really say that's
Most of it.
Disney. Most of it, yeah. So, our next story here is GameStop, as everyone knows, our favorite
They're so brave.
they're so brave. It takes courage to stay open during these trying times, says their CEO. Oh man, I was talking about this on the Cinemania World show. It was one of their video game episodes, and we had pretty much covered this, but it doesn't make any sense. So GameStop, for everyone who doesn't know out there, apparently they are actually labeled as an essential business.
Somehow.
Somehow, some way, they snuck it in there, and they're like, you know what? During times of panic, we got to make sure we keep our doors open and give the people what they want and what have you, and blah 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 blah, and whatever. But it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me because they finally closed their stores because after all of the ridicule that they've been getting, a lot of GameStop employees have been concerned about their health, and rightfully so. I actually canceled my GameStop pre-order through the one down the street from me. I had The Last of Us Part 2 pre-ordered there. I canceled it and I pre-ordered it at Best Buy, got my money back from them, but like they wouldn't even like tell me if I pre-ordered it with cash or card. They just literally stuck it on a store credit card, and it said, well, what if I pay cash for this? They're like, well, we can't really do that right now. I'm like, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because you actually closed your stores and you're only doing curbside service, but I don't see what's the big deal. I can just give you my ID because I had to give it to you anyway so that you can give me my gift card. So why don't you just go check at the same time? I'm trying to inquire about something.
Yeah,
But
they just need to close,
I
and
don't
it
know.
looks like they
Sorry
did.
about that. My headset fell off, but I wanted to get your thoughts about this, Devin. What are you thinking here?
They are not essential, and they should have closed earlier, but, I'm glad they closed, finally.
Finally, seriously, it has
Welcome to
been
Game
ins
Shop.
Hi, welcome to Game Shop. Oh my god. That whole that video is just hysterical, man. I absolutely love it. But
Classic.
yeah, GameStop, you suck. I mean, I'm glad your doors are quote unquote closed, but yeah, I mean, they're pretty much doing the same thing that Best Buy is doing. They're doing the curbside assistance, and it's just I think it's a smarter move because that's what I when I went to go pick up 1917. It was kind of sketchy. I'm not gonna lie. I just drove up to my Best Buy and I had to like park in this certain parking spot. And this guy came out with his gloves and mask on. He's like, hey man, what are you here for? And I was like, I'm here to pick up my copy of 1917. And he's like, all right, what's he needs to grab my ID and everything. It was very sketchy, but like, he was being extra precautious. So I gave him my ID and he went to the store and he grabbed me my copy, and that was it. He was like, "Have a nice day." And I was like, "Cool, thanks."
What a strange world we're living in.
Yeah, I wish I would have taken a picture of the actual signs, but it's weird, man, for sure. But we'll we'll pull off the Corona news here for a little bit, but yeah, GameStop sucks. I'm glad that they're somewhat shutting down their stores and not making a profit during these times, as if everyone's clamoring to go to GameStop in the first place. But um, anyway, you want to take I know how much you love Aquaman, Devin.
Yeah,
I you
especially this
you
character.
so you want to take this next story here.
So apparently, Black Manta will have a storyline in Aquaman 2, and I think we both thought that he was a pretty shit character in the first one. Like, his him and his dad are both bad people killing people, and then his dad gets killed by Aquaman, and then he's just mad the whole movie. Like, what do you expect? What do you expect when you're a pirate killing people?
Yeah, like, I didn't understand the justice there whatsoever, but
And
apparently
and the big black helmet looked really strange.
it did. I mean, that is his costume, that is part of his uniform, but, I guess the Aquaman 2 writers teased Black Manta's storyline for the sequel, and it's just,
I just could not care less.
I I can't say I care too much about this. It's just I know there's a lot of people out there who like Aquaman. I like Aquaman as a character, but apparently this it's I just hate this news so much because it's like no one I mean, they're going to make an Aquaman 2 because Aquaman 1 made over $1 billion, whatever, whatever. It's money, but it's just, I mean, Jason Momoa did a pretty good job in the first Aquaman. I can't get excited for this. I mean, I'm more excited if they ever make a Man of Steel 2. I mean, we'll see, but there's a little bit of a Twitter conversation between a fellow film fan and one of the directors or the writers, I should say, excuse me, for Aquaman 2. And he kind of teases a little bit saying, they're not taking any one particular comic book story and adapting in an Aquaman 2, but if you want to know the vibe they're going for, pick up pretty much any Silver Age story featuring Black Manta. So obviously that is a nod to the comics. So we'll just have to wait and see what comes out. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna go see it. I mean, if we like it, we like it. If not, we'll definitely let you know.
Yeah,
Yeah. But this one, Devin, I know you're very excited for GTA 6. We got a little bit of gaming news here. Um, so GTA 6 apparently this has been a rumor in the past a lot for a while that Grand Theft Auto 6 will be a timed exclusive on the PlayStation 5. According to rumors, this story comes from Screen Rant, and a lot of these previous stories have been coming mainly from comic book movie comicbook.com. So just wanted to throw that out there. I know I'm kind of like off my game today. I don't know why. I feel like we had a nice flow going with our big time adolescence review, and then we kind of stopped. We ate, and then we came back. So, but this rumor does it's not unconfirmed, but it's quite likely that GTA will be a temporary exclusive on the new PlayStation 5 console. I mean, there's a little bit of like backbone to this story, but I wanted to get your thoughts about this first, Devin.
I can't get excited about GTA 6. I just can't do it to myself. Because even when it does come out, it's gonna be at least another year until they do the PC port because they don't care about us. Then I'll just be sitting there waiting. Everyone's gonna be on consoles having fun in GTA. It's just not a good time.
I'll let you know how it is. I mean, I plan to pick up a PlayStation 5, but that's strictly for the exclusives. Everything else, third party related goes right on the nice PC here. So, but yeah, I think I am a little bit tired of timed exclusives. I get in the past it made more sense, but it's I mean a lot of these companies, for those of you who don't know, they don't make a lot of money off of hardware. Software sales is where it's at. And if Rockstar, I mean, they eventually put what Red Dead Redemption 2 out on PC. Devin ended up picking it up. I actually played it when it came out on my for PS4 because I'm just an impatient little kid, whatever. But it's I mean, it was nice, but I would like to have the day and day release for PC and for all the platforms because it really doesn't make any sense to split up your sales like that. I mean, I get it. First and foremost, they are going to come out with the console versions first because that just makes more sense. But at the same time, the PC gaming community is a lot bigger, but a lot of these devs try to cater to the console audience first. So it kind of sucks. I mean, I'm hoping this doesn't really come true. I mean, yeah, it'd be good for PlayStation 5, first time owners, but I mean, honestly, what are you really winning here? Because it's in a way it's isolating the rest of the community, especially PC community, because that's where it's at. PC Master Race. So
Indeed.
indeed. So let's just move on, chugging along here. So Netflix, the chief of Netflix, the Netflix chief, says the coronavirus shutdown won't delay upcoming releases. And
Good.
this comes from comicbook.com. And I don't know. I wanted we know that movies like Black Widow and Wonder Woman got pushed back to August 14th and what have you, and Minions Rise of Gru, which I'm kind of disappointed because I really want to see that one. Netflix has promised that their upcoming projects will not be affected by any of these delays because, streaming services are at the ready and there's so much content, they can kind of just pop
And
it
they're
in and
making all the money from this.
yeah. I mean, any streaming service is because think about it, anyone who's not checked out, I don't know, Hulu or especially Disney Plus, and we have HBO Max coming around the corner in May.
I
That's
heard
going to be
Disney
big.
Plus had their subscriber count like triple since the virus started hitting.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like think about it. Like I mean, it's as of right now, this is about the streaming services and and um game companies or these consoles, they're all fighting. Well, and they have been for a while. They're all fighting for your entertainment. They want, whatever you're doing on your screens at home, whatever content you're consuming or playing, they want you to be a part of their ecosystem. And now that these, unfortunately, since this global pandemic has happened, it's very it's good for streaming services. I mean, we see a lot of these movies are moving to or at least the digital releases are coming out super early for a lot of these movies. We have Onward that just came out, Birds of Prey, The Gentleman, The Way Back, Doolittle for those of you who care. Song of the Hedgehog is coming out March 31st. Bad Boys for Life, Portrait of a Lady on Fire just is getting dropped tonight on like Friday night at midnight or Thursday and Friday night midnight on Hulu. It's a great time to consume media, but at the same time, it's delicate out there. But I don't know. Did you have anything to say about this?
I think you covered most of it. Thankfully, Netflix is gonna give us something to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the boys season 2. I want the boys. The boys need to be back better than
We
ever.
get the Willoughbys. That's something.
Yeah, and speaking of the Willoughbys, the trailer came out that will be on the Netflix streaming platform. But what were your thoughts about that, Devin?
Thought it looked surprisingly good. Like a nice, charming little animated movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see it. I'm keen on what it is, and if we like it enough, I definitely think we can review it here on the old pod because we're always looking for content, especially during these trying times. And it's I mean it's hard. It sucks. We can't really go to the movies and bring our hottest hot takes to those around us for the new movie releases, but it is for the good of the people, and eventually, hopefully soon, we can get back on track and get back to a normal way of life. So yeah. I
And
don't
on the
know.
other end of the spectrum, the, Coffee and Cream trailer for Netflix, I was not a fan. Not sure what you thought.
Well, so this features Ed Helms, and I okay, I can't say I hate it, but it just looks like a dumb fun movie that I can turn on one day. Like, you know what? What's this? But it looks better. Well, I don't know if it looks better than Spencer Confidential or Guns Akimbo, but it's something to consume. And if I get a good laugh out of it, I'll be fine. And that's all I care about. Like it is just I don't know. I mean, I know you say you weren't super excited for it, but it does come out April 3rd on Netflix, so everyone keep a lookout for that as well.
I'll let you watch that one first. You
Oh my god.
can take the bullet.
You know what? Fine. I'll do. I don't mind. I really don't mind doing it. It can't be worse than Tall Girl, right? Like or Bright. Bright. Wow. But anyway, so on the other end of the streaming spectrum, moving away from the streaming services, we have YouTube is imposing global limits on video quality
I
for
actually did
1
a
month.
little more. I looked a little more into it. It's the title is kind of misleading because what they're basically doing is they're setting the default quality to lower, but you can always change it back. So it's like they are limiting the quality, but only if you keep it that way. That makes
Okay.
sense.
Well, you just saved me a rant. No, well, not much of a rant, but yeah, because it kind of bear the question for me at least. You know, when I first read this, I was like, okay, so YouTube or and especially Netflix, because I think Netflix was starting to crack down on this as well, weren't they? And over in Europe,
That's what I heard, I think.
yeah. But I mean, for YouTube, I mean, I guess it makes sense because if it was Netflix, more, you know, especially like US, Canada, because they have three tiers. They have the standard definition paid tier, and then the full HD, and then you have 4K. The 4K one, the 4K tier, I should say, is about 16, $17 a month. That is a lot, but that's the one that I have because, you know, it's me and my sister and my folks are on there as well. So we can have up to four people streaming. I believe the HD option only gives you two.
Yeah, that's what we have.
Yeah, and honestly, but in and it's like it's not even that much of a jump down. I think it's only like a $3 or $4 difference. So it's weird because I would definitely I mean Netflix has raised its prices up. I'm sure Disney Plus is going to do the same at some point. But yeah, I mean, okay, that you know, the way that you explained it, that actually makes more sense if you can change it back. But I don't think everyone's trying to, you know, stream to stream Mr. Sunday movies videos at, you know, 4K. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
720p or 1080p will be or just normal HD will be just fine. So well, thank you for clearing that up, Devin, because I had a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But we have another bit, and I know we've been kind of sort of talking about a lot of coronavirus news. This will be more of a shorter show, obviously, but that's okay. You know, it is what it is. But actually, I wanted to talk about Stranger Things season 4. The original release date was supposed to be in early 2021.
It's gonna
And
be a while.
it's gonna be a while since I figured, you know, we were talking about everything else streaming wise to kind of just fit this one on in there. But it kind of sucks, you know. But you know, David Harbour kind of told everyone he thought it was supposed to be coming out early next year, and you know, it gets delayed. You know, I know we've been talking about this a lot on the show with, you know, the coronavirus, this COVID-19, that, and the global pandemic and everything. We're going to try our best to not talk about it as much anymore because we understand it is a bummer. And at this point, I'm just assuming that everything's going to be delayed. And every single time I see a bit of news where it's like, oh, so and so got delayed and blah 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 got delayed, it's like, well, yeah, no shit. I'm sorry, but at this point, it's just best to assume.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to little.
There is one positive.
Well, yeah, there is
Looks
one
like Tenet
positive.
is staying put in July.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan is putting his foot down and he said, "Not my movie. We're still aiming for that July release date," which um I I understand because I mean, what Fast 9, we talked about it a while ago. It pushed its release date back nearly pretty much a year. And said, "Okay, I think this is a little bit ridiculous." I think obviously, if things don't get better, Christopher Nolan will, make the right choice and push it back. But they're still chugging along. So
We
is
need we
Mission
need a we need a
Impossible.
blockbuster, and that
We need a
definitely fails to
blockbuster,
that.
and Christopher Nolan is here to save the day.
Yes.
And honestly, I mean, even if this came out like, and we had talked about, would you pay $20 for a rental? And I thought about, I'm like, it depends on the movie. For Tenet, I might have to, but I would have to have someone else going on it with me because I'm not paying $20 on my own. Absolutely not. Because we don't even pay $20 to go to the movies every time we go. We pay, what, $20 a month? I don't know a lot. I don't know a lot of people who pay $20 for their ticket as it is. Now, $20 for, your ticket and snacks, that's a different thing. But I mean, congratulations, Christopher Nolan. They're chugging along. They're gonna press on, and hopefully everything will be the way it should by then or before then. So maybe we can start getting these these movies chugging along. But there is another this is I believe this is our last piece of news actually. Um so apparently Brie Larson, we all know her, we all love her. She's a phenomenal actor, Academy Award winner, is up for a Animal Crossing movie role.
Animal Crossing's taking over. It really
Animal
is.
Crossing is taking over. She has been posting a lot of Instagram pics and Twitter pics of her and her new Switch. I'm assuming that she is a big Animal Crossing fan, much like a lot of people out there. For one, never really got into the series, but hey, to each their own. Brie Larson says that the Animal Crossing series has always been important to her, so guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know. Did
know
you have
what
any?
this movie I don't know anything about this movie. I'm guessing it would be animated, but who knows?
Mate, can you imagine a live action Animal Crossing movie?
No.
I can't either because it's going to be very, very weird. But I believe that actually does it for all of our news today. I think we actually have a few fan questions here. Let me pull that up really quick. But I don't know, man. It has been rough for those out there. Let me pull these. I could have sworn that. I posted this a while ago, but I don't know. It seems that I cannot find these fan questions at all, which kind of, I know we had one from Dakota and we actually had one from Alex. Oh, here we are. So, well, Alex's is more of a question and Dakota's is more of a request. So, uh, I guess we'll just go with Dakota's question here really quick. He wants us to do a top 10 favorite spin-off and rate each other's lists, which
A
I guess
very
spin-off,
specific list
very,
that I
very
am not
specific.
prepared for.
I'm not prepared for that at all. So we'll have to get back to you on that, Dakota, because for top favorite spin-offs, does he mean movies? Does he mean TV shows? We need to get a little bit more information on that question. And Alex's
Mandalorian's number 1.
Mandalorian. Mandalorian is number one, honestly. Yes. And actually, Game of Thrones will be number one for me, and they're already doing that. It's more of a prequel, not a spinoff, but yeah. Alex asks, while with all the other stuff going on with movies getting pushed back, how do you think the Red Sox will be this year? In quotations, this is intentionally a question that is dumb and makes no sense. So, Devin, how do you think the Red Sox are going to
Well,
do this year?
if they ever do play, I think they're gonna be terrible.
You think they're going to be terrible? All right.
Yes.
All right. Well, There you have it. I don't watch baseball, so there. Yeah.
They
But
traded
yeah,
their
I kind
best
of
player.
who's the best player?
His name is Mookie Betts. It's a great
Mookie
name.
Betts.
They
That's
traded
right.
him for
Yeah.
a whole lot of nothing.
One of my friends actually tweeted that he was asking, if they canceled, baseball, like would anyone really care? And I was like, as much as I don't like baseball, I think a lot of people would, but
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, I get it. Like, if you don't like baseball, whatever. But I wouldn't sit here and thrash America's pastime. But Devin is a big baseball fan. I'm not, but oh well. But I believe that does do it for this episode 8 of the Film Optics podcast, aka Headline Hot Takes. So make sure to check out our Big Time Adolescence review that's coming up this Sunday. So we talked about it for a while. We both had a really good time with it, and me more so than Devin, but that's all right. But I believe our next review for next Sunday is going to be The Hunt.
The Hunt.
If I'm not
The most
mistaken,
talked about movie of the year.
the most talked about movie of the year. So I already watched it, but no, I did not pay for it. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. And just say that the dark side is a pathway to many abilities. Some may consider to be unnatural.
Okay.
Just to yeah, I don't know. I just thought it kind of fit in with the route that I took to watch this movie. But um no, I totally just watched it on my friend's video account because he rented that and Birds of Prey. So there's always that. So yes, we do have Big Time Adolescence coming up this Sunday. That review will be up early in the morning for everyone, and then I believe my Ethan, Jared, and myself will be reviewing Superman Red Sun. That will be a bonus episode coming up this coming Wednesday. And of course, this will be dropping out on Friday. And then following for this following Sunday, Devin and I will be reviewing The Hunt. Devin will be back with his I'm curious to see what you think of this movie, because I'm definitely going to watch it again because I it was entertaining. I liked it a lot. So we'll get into that then. But again, thank you all for listening. You can listen to us on pretty much any platform, podcast platform out there: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, you name it. We're also on YouTube and on iHeart Radio now, so that's awesome. And you can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Film Optics. And again, as always, Optics is spelled Optix, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Peace.